Japan consistently ranks as the country with the most well-behaved and self-disciplined children on the entire planet. In global studies of emotional regulation, Japanese youth outperform their peers in almost every other developed nation by a staggering margin. How is it possible to cultivate such deep composure and respect in a child without ever needing to raise your voice? What if the parenting secrets we have been searching for in the West have been hiding in plain sight in the East for centuries? Picture a crowded commuter train in the heart of Tokyo during the busiest hour of the day. A young toddler begins to have a visible meltdown in the middle of the quiet carriage. In most parts of the world, this would be met with a flurry of parental panic, loud scolding, or desperate bribes of sugary snacks. But this Japanese mother does something that looks almost revolutionary to an outside observer. She simply waits. She remains entirely calm. She does not whisper sharp threats or try to force the child into immediate silence. She acts as if she possesses a profound piece of knowledge that the rest of the busy world has somehow forgotten. And the truth is that she actually does. The legendary behavior of Japanese children is not the result of being punished into submission. It is the product of a parenting philosophy so simple and yet so transformative that it will change the way you look at your own child forever. Over the next 9 minutes, we are going to explore 3 ancient tools that you can start using in your home tonight. You might think that these techniques only work because Japanese culture is fundamentally different from ours. However, the most fascinating part is that these principles are not just cultural traditions. They are now being validated by decades of rigorous developmental psychology. Top researchers at Harvard, Stanford, and prestigious child development institutes globally have spent years studying why these children regulate their emotions so effectively. The secret to their success is not found in strict rules or a climate of fear. It is not even found in discipline in the way we typically define it in a Western context. The foundation of everything begins with a single, powerful word: Shitsuke. In the Japanese language, this word is written using 2 distinct characters. The first character represents the body, and the second character represents beauty. When translated literally, it means to attach beauty to the body. This concept is not about punishment or exerting control over a smaller human being. It is about the art of raising a child who genuinely wants to behave well. It is about making good behavior a core part of who that child is as a person. In the West, we often fall into the trap of waiting for bad behavior to happen and then reacting to it. We yell, we take away electronic devices, or we send children to their rooms in isolation. While these tactics might stop the noise for a few minutes, the cycle inevitably repeats itself over and over again. This happens because we are only treating the visible symptom instead of addressing the underlying cause. Japanese parents take the opposite approach by focusing on preventing the fire rather than constantly trying to put it out. They do this by asking themselves one vital question every time a child acts out. They ask themselves what specific skill their child is currently missing. Instead of wondering how to stop the tantrum, they wonder what the child does not yet know how to do. The truth is that children do not misbehave simply to make your life difficult or to be malicious. They misbehave because they lack a necessary internal skill. Skills like emotional regulation, patience, and clear communication are not things we are born with. These are complex abilities that must be intentionally taught with patience. The moment you shift your mindset from punishing unwanted behavior to teaching a missing skill, the atmosphere in your home will change. Let us go back to that mother on the train and look closer at her reaction. She was practicing a traditional concept known as Mimamoru. This term translates to the act of watching over while still protecting. It is rooted in the belief that children grow much stronger when adults resist the urge to intervene at every moment of difficulty. In Western society, we are often conditioned to fix problems as fast as humanly possible. If a child struggles, we immediately step in to do it for them. If a child cries, we rush to provide an immediate solution. If a child fails, we are there to rescue them before they feel the weight of it. We do these things out of an intense love, but there is an unintended consequence to our rescue missions. Every time we rush in to save the day, we are sending our child a silent and damaging message. We are telling them that they are not capable of handling things on their own. Japanese parents do something that feels radically different and sometimes difficult for us. They take a step back and they observe with intention. This is not a cold or uncaring observation. It is an act of deep trust in the child's natural capacity to work through hard moments. They allow the child to sit in the discomfort just long enough for the child to try a solution. When the child manages to solve even a small part of the problem, that success becomes the foundation of real confidence. This is not the superficial confidence that comes from being told they did a good job every 5 minutes. This is the genuine confidence that is born from actually doing something difficult. Developmental psychologists call this process productive struggle. It is one of the strongest predictors of emotional resilience and long-term success in children. The next time your child is frustrated or upset, try to pause for at least 10 seconds before you jump in. You will likely be surprised by exactly what they are capable of achieving when given the space. Many people mistakenly assume that Japanese parenting must be cold, rigid, or overly strict. The reality is actually the complete opposite of that assumption. The entire system is built on a beautiful concept called ame. This word describes the feeling of being able to completely depend on the love of another person. During the earliest years of life, Japanese parents maintain an extraordinary level of physical closeness with their children. Co-sleeping is a common practice and physical affection is constant throughout the day. A child is never made to feel alone or abandoned in the world. This is not about spoiling a child or babying them. This is about building a secure foundation in the brain. Neuroscience shows us that a child who feels securely attached to their caregiver develops a nervous system that is better at self-regulation. When a child knows deep in their bones that love is not conditional on their performance, they have no need to act out for attention. They do not need to constantly test limits just to feel secure in their environment. The emotional warmth provided in early childhood is the soil from which self-discipline naturally grows. As the child develops, independence is encouraged in a very gentle and gradual way. Responsibility is added in small increments, because the child is ready for it, not because the parent is pulling away. It is a perfect balance of providing warmth first and building structure second. You may have heard that Japanese children take responsibility for cleaning their own classrooms every single day. They do this without janitors and without adults having to nag them. This is not an accident, and it is not just about keeping the floor clean. It is about the third pillar of Japanese parenting, which states that behavior becomes character through repetition. Children as young as 4 years old are given small and meaningful daily responsibilities. They set the table, they pack their own school bags, and they help clean up after every meal. The parents do not ask for this help because they need the labor. They do it because these small rituals repeated every single day transform the child's sense of self. The children begin to see themselves as capable, responsible, and contributing members of a community. Once a child forms an identity as a responsible person, that identity drives their behavior more than any rule ever could. Western parenting often struggles because we focus so much on enforcing consequences and giving rewards. We often forget to help the child build the internal identity of someone who does the right thing. Japanese parents do not say to clean a room just because they said so. Through their own modeling and daily rituals, they communicate that this is simply who we are as a family. Children will almost always rise to meet the identity that is reflected back at them. To start this journey in your own home, pick one small daily ritual to introduce this week. It does not need to be a major change or a difficult task. It could be having your child set the table, or perhaps packing their own bag for school tomorrow. The key is to do it every single day, without pressure and without the promise of a reward. Lead with high expectations and even higher levels of trust. If you can maintain this for 3 weeks, you will see a different child begin to emerge. Japanese parents are not naturally calmer people because they have a special secret. They are calmer because they have built a system based on connection and trust. Shitsuke, Mimamoru, and Amai are not just Japanese cultural secrets. They are fundamental human truths that are available to every parent starting right now. If these ideas gave you a new perspective on your parenting journey, please share this with another parent who might be struggling. If you want to dive deeper into child psychology and how different cultures raise intelligent kids, please subscribe to the channel. There is so much more information coming your way very soon. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.